What's up guys, Matt Sheldon here from Become Elite, and today I'm just going to show you a typical training session that I usually do. First things first, you got to get a good warm-up in. I usually just start with a couple laps around the field that I'm training at. Right now I'm in like a futsal court, and I'm just going to do like 2 or 3 laps without the ball, just slow-paced jog around the field. When I do this, all I'm trying to do is just pump blood into my extremities, into my muscles, just so I can get a little warm before I start using a ball so I don't pull anything. After 2 to 3 laps of this, maybe 4 depending on how I feel, if I'm not warm yet I do more, I start adding some dynamic movements in, like some high knees, some butt kickers, some side to side, some karaoke. I just really start mixing it up, trying to get some dynamic movements in to really get my muscles ready for what I'm about to do. Once I'm feeling warm and I'm good, I get a ball, and then I do about 2 to 3 laps with the ball. And this time, I'm not going just like touching it slowly around the field. I'm doing moves. I'm doing anything I can think of, just really trying to warm up the body and get ready, get my touch right, so I can really have a good training session. And again, when I'm going around, I just am freestyling. I do step overs, I cut the ball, I do pull back turns, but I'm always just doing about 1 to 2 laps around the field. This really gets me tired. If you're doing this right, you should be out of breath after a couple laps because you're always trying to do different moves. It's like constantly trying to fake out a defender. So now my body's warmed up, my muscles are feeling good, and my touch is feeling good. So now I can really start this training session right. If your body doesn't feel good after this, I'd really recommend doing more of a warm-up. Stretch what you need, do some more dynamic movements, maybe even run more if you're still feeling cold. But usually after this, I feel pretty good. Then it's on to my first exercise. My first exercise that I'm doing today is just juggling. I just want to get my touch even more right and really just work on my touch and control. When I'm juggling, I'm going to focus on keeping every juggle below my knees. And what I'm going to do is I want to get to 1,000 juggles, 1,000 cumulative juggles before I move on to the next exercise. For you, this might be too high or this might be too low. It's just up to you. Usually it takes me about like 5 to 10 minutes to do this. And the typical pattern I do is 200 juggles alternating between my right and left foot. So I go right foot, left foot, until I get up to 200. Once I've gotten to 200 juggles, then I go 100 just with my right, and then 100 just with my left. It doesn't have to be consecutive, I just do this cumulative. So if I get to 60 and I drop the ball, I start at 61. I don't start back over at 0. Once I've done 100 of each foot, that's 400 total juggles now that I've done. The next thing I do is 100 juggles, and I try to do about waist height, maybe belly button height now. So it works on my control and my first touch a little bit more. I do try to do 100 cumulative of these juggles, and then once that's done, that's 500 juggles total, and I start back and I do that same thing again. So I basically do 2 sets of that and totaling up to 1,000 juggles. That's a good way to get a lot of touches and a lot of practice in before I really start the real dynamic movement exercises. Also, take note that I put a little box around where I'm going to juggle. And I do this just so I'm not moving all over the place, and I'm really trying to focus on every touch being perfect. I find for me that if I don't put that box around myself, I start wandering off in either direction, I start turning, and then I just kind of follow where I kick the ball versus trying to control where I kick the ball. After the juggling, I like to move on to a little bit of dribbling. And for this dribbling exercise, right now I'm on a kind of slippery surface, so if I was on grass, I'd probably do something with a little bit more cuts, a little bit more turns, but here I'm just going to do some simple, just really tight dribbling through some cones. As you can see, what I'm going to do is I use the sole of my foot to do most of the dribbling here, just because I'm on an indoor surface. If I was on the outdoor, I'd probably widen up the cones a little bit more and really practice on dribbling through them. But here, I just want to work on that super tight control. So I'm going to take just my right foot and I'm going to roll it forward, sideways through the cone, forward, sideways through the cone. And just do that same little zigzagging, almost in a square zigzag, as I zigzag all the way down the cones. And then I turn around and I do that back again. That's 1 set. I like to do about 4 to 5 sets with just my right foot. Once I'm done with that, I move on to the same thing, but with my left foot. I get a lot of players asking me that they want to improve their left foot. Well, you got to do all the drills with your left foot. That's how you improve it. After that, I like to go on to a next one incorporating both feet. So this time I roll it forward with my right foot and across the cones with the sole of my right foot. The left foot again, roll it forward and across. Again, I just go all the way down until I'm done, turn around and come back. 1 set, I like to go for 4 or 5. So there's a good dribbling exercise to really get our control in dribbling and tight spaces down. Once that's done, I want to move on to a little first touch and control. So again, like the first exercise where I had the box with the juggling, I'm going to create a box about 3 by 3 yards around me. I'm just going to start juggling a couple times, hit the ball up probably about 15 to 20 feet in the air, and just wait till it comes down. When it comes down, I want to take a touch and just try to stop it inside the square with just 1 or 2 touches. What I'm focusing on here is kicking the ball straight up so it comes straight back down in the box, and then I'm just focusing on just killing the ball. As soon as I reach out my foot, I just want to kill the ball so it lands on the ground. So I like to try to trap the ball about 10 to 20 times with just my right foot, and then 10 to 20 times with just my left foot. Make sure when you're doing your left foot, you're also kicking the ball up with your left foot. A lot of players just kick the ball up with their right foot when they're trapping with their right foot, and just kick the ball up still with their right foot when they're using their left foot. We want to make both our feet very good, and the only way to do this is by practicing it. So kick the ball up with your left foot and trap with your left foot. Once you're done with this, move on to the next variation. This variation, you're going to kick the ball up, and then when it comes down, instead of trapping it and killing it on the ground inside the square, you're going to trap it, but you're going to keep juggling with it. So it's just going to go straight into your normal juggles. This is hard, this is advanced. If it's too hard, forget the box and just try to do it in an open area. But you should still be trying to do this. Again, 10 to 20 times with the right foot, 10 to 20 times with the left foot. So now we've worked on our dribbling and our first touch. The next thing I want to do is work on our passing. A lot of players say to me like, oh, I don't have a training partner, I can't train, or I can't work on the passing. That's just not true. For me right here, I don't even have a wall really, but I still found a place in this goal that I'm going to show you that I can just hit the ball against, and it comes out to me back strong and hard, and it replicates a good pass. And this drill is kind of boring. A lot of these drills are kind of quote unquote boring, but it's working on the fundamentals that really makes you a good football player. I don't care if you can do a rainbow twisting perfect thing. If you can't dribble, pass, and trap the ball consistently, then no coaches are really going to want you as their player. So I go up into this wall and I just take the ball and I pass it, working on just one-time passes, making them straight, making it come straight back to me, hitting it back on the ground firmly and consistently. I do that for about 5 minutes, and then I switch and just do this with my left foot. Once I'm done that, I scoot back a little bit farther, and I work on doing 2 touch passes where I really ping the ball in harder, let it bounce back harder to me, take a positive first touch where it's not going up in the air, it's not going away from me, it's not dying underneath me. It's a perfect one to set up my next pass. Again, 5 minutes with the right foot, 5 minutes with the left foot. So now we've worked on our tight space dribbling, our first touch, and our passing. Now I like to finish up with a little shooting on goal. Again, I don't have a full-size goal with me right now, so I've been using a smaller futsal goal. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if you don't have a goal. Just get a wall, or just get a target, get a trash can where you're just trying to aim for. You're just trying to focus on striking the ball with your laces and aiming for a specific target. So all I'm going to do now is basically roll the ball out in front of me and just strike it on the goal. You can place cones if you want to do a little bit more advanced stuff. Right now, I'm just focusing on getting dead center, right in the middle of the net, warming up, getting that kicking motion right so I can do a little bit more advanced dribbling and shooting exercise next. So as you can see, I'm doing about 10 to 20 shots with just my right foot and the laces, aiming straight down the center of the goal. And once I'm done with that, I switch to my left foot and do the same exact thing. I hope that you guys notice that I'm doing every single drill with my right foot and my left foot. That's how you get a better weak foot. You gotta train your weak foot. Final drill I'm gonna do is the Ronaldinho Drill to shot. The Ronaldinho Drill is basically where I throw down all the cones I have. 10 to 20 cones. If you have 50 cones, throw down 50. I'm throwing them down just randomly. I'm gonna take the ball and dribble through it, doing as many tight space moves, pullbacks, turns in this square as possible. Once I exit the square, I'm gonna push the ball out in front of me and then fire on goal. Again, I do about 10 reps with the right foot and 10 reps with the left foot. So there you guys go. That's a typical training session that I like to do. As you can see, I didn't do much longer space dribbling. I usually like to do that, but again, on this surface, I really don't want to risk doing full speed dribbling and cuts because I don't want to slip and hurt myself right before I go into some big trials for me. So I'm really just focused on just doing tighter space dribbling, passing, shooting, and first touch. Hope you learned something. Be sure to click subscribe and like on this video, and let me know if you like it or not.